Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Majin Slayer here, and today I got for you guys a high-rated Dueling book replay. It is going to be featuring Dodger Wolf with 1476 rating, going up against John Colokas 1998 with 1202 rating. And go ahead and be sure to check out the July_TCG Discord server, a really nice Discord server to do some casual duels, remote duels, dueling book duels, get feedback on your deck list. Really nice place that has a diverse group of players that play different types of decks. Highly recommend it. I use it personally for my own playtesting. And yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started with the replay. We're going to go ahead and see Dodger Wolf win the RPS. So we're going to decide to go first. You're going to see 40 versus 43. Opening hands is going to be Seer, Fogblade, Tour Guide, Boots, Joel and Blackbird. So you guys probably know Dodger Wolf from DB Grinder's channel, as well as if you ever seen him play on Rated. He doesn't like to play the Fusion Destiny build of the deck. He prefers to go more of like a pure version, kind of what I used to play, with the Tour Guides, the Seer, Graph, and Scarm, and then go for like a Isold Renault package. I think his version of the deck works good, like against every other matchup besides SwordSoul. And it's like so bad right now because SwordSoul is like the worst matchup for Phantom Knights. And for me personally, I found Tour Guide and Kagamuchi Knight to be really underwhelming this format because of how bad they play into stuff like a blackout. Because you go normal summon Tour Guide effect, okay, bring out Graph, okay, there's a blackout there. And it's like they just pop your Tour Guide and blackout. What are you gonna do from there? Like if anybody knows, they'll just let it go through. And then Kagamuchi Knight, you don't really want to. You really want extenders that special summon themselves out because let's say you can normal summon Torn Scales, right? And then discard a card from hand. Go ahead, dump a Phantom Knight name, that's a summon an extender. That'll help you play around Blackout because we'll try to pop your Torn Scales and generic extender. You can just go ahead and revive it back with the PK name you dumped already. It's just like an example, but I find that the builds right now with Sword Guide and Kagamuchi Knight, they're very explosive, right? But there's just the worst matchup out there right now. That's also the best deck of the format that's out to get them. So a little bit of a rant on that, sorry. But SwordSoul player's hand is going to be Droplet, Sacred Summit, Moyi, Vishuda, and Heavenly Dragon Circle. See Dodger Wolf start off with Tour Guide. Tour Guide effect, go ahead, bring out the Graph. Turn those into Cherubini. Graph effect, go ahead, bring out the Scarm. Then Cherubini effect, go ahead, dump Ancient Cloak. Then Seer effect, go ahead, switch himself out. Cloak effect, go ahead, add Shade Brigadier. Turn the Seer and Scarm into Levier. Levier effect, go ahead, bring out the Ancient Cloak. Switch someone out the Boots. Overlay those into the Dante. Dante effect to mill. So we see here that he mills the Lancia, Droll, and Torn Scales. Interesting that he decides to main Lancia. I personally don't find Lancia to be that good against that many deck. It's mainly just against the mirror match. I guess if you expect a lot of SwordSoul, it'll stop them from searching out Protoss. So that way they don't blind Protoss called Dark against you. But even then, you still have to deal with the field of like a Baron negate as well as the Chi-Shao negate and possibly a Blackout. So I find Lancia kind of underwhelming, and especially because it conflicts a bit with like what the deck is trying to do, which is get recursion by using a Pog Blade to pop with the Rusty during your opponent's turn, as well as reviving back a Phantom Knight monster and the Torn Scales. But you can't really do that if you can't banish cards. So interesting choice right there. I'm kind of on the fence about Lancia in this deck. And go ahead, go for the F-Zero. Go ahead, set Shade Brigadier. Go ahead, turn the Cherubini Shade into the Rusty Bardiche. Rusty effect, go ahead, dump the Ragged Gloves, set the Pog Blade. Ragged Gloves effect, go ahead, dump the Sword. Torn Scales effect, revive itself out. Sword effect, go ahead, bring out the Ancient Cloak. Ancient Cloak effect to boost Rusty. Break Sword, summon. Pop the Break Sword with Rusty. Break Sword, turn the monsters into IP. Boots effect, go ahead, search out Wing. Yeah, this is a play I really like. That you just search out the wings, and then in case they just try to beat over the IP Masquerade, okay, just go ahead, use wings to protect it, and now they just completely wasted their battle phase and tried to play past an interruption. Gonna go ahead and on 2 Pog Blades, Wing, Utopic Draco Future, and the IP Masquerena. It has really nice follow-up in the graveyard. And also he's about to get a Tour Guide search during the end phase. Yep, from these Skarm effects. And he also has Joel and Lockbird to stop the SwordSoul deck from trying to search out Protoss. And you're going to try to play through this. This is the one deck that can break a Fam Knight board, in my opinion. Especially if they have like some Tenyi monsters in hand. It's really nice at board breaking because the shooter can like bounce back your Pog Blades. Can't really negate it because it's a graveyard effect. So it gets really annoying. They can use Heavenly Dragon Circle to dodge your Pog Blade. So it's a really hard matchup, even if you come up with like a well-established board. So like sticking on summon, can go ahead and use wings on the F-Zero. Go ahead and use wings right away. That's why I really love wings. This format just falls off right away. Because you need to get rid of some things that are threatening, that you feel are threatening. Let's see one on Vishuda, Torn Chainlink 2. So they want to go ahead and negate that. They're thinking about how many, since they realize that Dodger Wolf's committing his resources to try to get rid of the Vishuda. He's going to chain droplet to that. Get rid of the Dragon Circle Vishuda. Negate the... negate F-Zero now. Oh, he's going to negate, F-Zero and the IP Masquerena. Go ahead, use SwordSoul Emergence here. Go ahead, add the Long John. Go ahead, change roll. Stop the Proto search. Go ahead, normal summon on Moyi, reveal the Long John. Pog Blade, negate the Moyi. Long John effect, discard Emergence. Or no, Sacred Summon, sorry. F-Zero effect, go ahead to negate that. But attempt to negate that, but he really just wants the to detach the Dante, so that way he can get add back Seer. So he has a follow-up with the Cherubini. Go ahead, Vishuda effect, bounce back the Pog Blade to hands. Go ahead and link off Moyi and the Shishao. And then they're going to go ahead and banish a SwordSoul card because they're under draw right now, so they banish the Blackout. Go ahead, turn the Long John and the token into the Supreme. Go ahead, Long John to burn. Go ahead, Shishao attack over the Utopic Draco because it is halved. And then it is under wings, so it does have the once per turn preventing from being destroyed. Yeah, he's thinking if he attacked into IP, if it would be game. Yeah, it wouldn't be enough to kill him. We put him on like around this life point, so I'm not gonna do the math on that right now. But top decks into the Psychic Wheeler. Okay, nice extender for turn. Go ahead. Try to use Rusty Effect, chain the Shishao. Go ahead, Torn Scales, discard Seer. Go ahead, dump Ancient Cloak. Seer Effect, go ahead, bring back the Dante. Turn the Dante and IP into the Nightmare Unicorn. Unicorn Effect. Yeah, I think you're just going to go ahead and realize defeat. Dodger Wolf still had a Tour Guide in hand as well as the Psychic Ascenders, so he didn't commit his normal summon, and his normal summon is really strong once he baits out all the negates. We're going to go on and move to game 2 here. Opening hands are going to be Called by the Grave, Gloves, Rhoda, Ancient Cloak, Living Fossil. Okay, so interesting to see that he keeps in the Isold plus Renault package going second. Wonder what his side deck patterns are now that I think about it, because Called by is a little bit weak, like going second. Like it's decent against if you're going up against that D-Link. It helps out the Heretic Seal of Spears. But I don't know. It's gonna feel like it's better to keep it going first now. But maybe that's just my personal opinion. But now you're gonna have a SwordSoul player open up Pot of Desires, add Hara, SwordSoul Emergence, Ashuda, and Solemn Judgment. So they open up one hard going first card. Which is pretty decent against Fair Knights. Literally stop their normal summon and you put them on having like a junk forward and like psychic or like an Italic plus a psychic. Like you would have to have a pretty good hand to play around like a Protoss at that point. Go ahead, Desires. Browse into the Moyi and the Adhara. Go ahead, Moyi effect, reveal the Adhara. Bring out the token. Go for the Shishao. Moyi, Chainlink 2, draws into the Heavenly Dragon Circle, searches out the Blackout. Go ahead, Emergence, add the Long John. Long John effect, discarding the Shuda. Go ahead, bring that out. Go ahead, turn those into the Supreme. Go ahead, Long John burn. Goes ahead and sets the Heavenly Dragon Circle, sets Blackout, sets Solemn Judgment, and passes. Top decks into the Dark Ruler no more. Alright, so can help get rid of negate the Tenyi and the Shishao, but that's only melee Solemn Judgment though. Yep. Go ahead, uses Rhoda here. Doesn't have to deal with Protoss, fortunately, but I still think it's going to be a pretty tough board to break. Go ahead, yep, use the Blackout. Go ahead, use Tenyi effect. And then go ahead, use Silent Boots effect right there. Go ahead, set to search a Pog Blade, sets the Pog Blade plus the called by, and passes turn. So we use the Shishao during the end phase. So that banishes the Blackout and tries to push them out a token. Hold on 1 second. Okay, down. Standby phase, use Called by the Grave. Target at Hara. Doesn't want them to be able to special summon out from the main deck. Oh no, wait, this is a different one. They don't want them to be able to add back a banished one, add back the Long John. Go ahead, Pog Blade, target the Tenyi. Go ahead, normal summon Ecclesia effect. You have to just go ahead and hit the feet right there. Moving on to game 3. Opening hands are going to be Psychic Wielder, Token Collector, Lancia, Tour Guide, and Boots. Really nice hand. Pretty strong. Stops him from searching out Protoss, as well as establishing, going into like any type of synchro monsters, making it really difficult actually, because you know all their tuners, aside from like I think 1 or 2 Tenyi games are tuners, but like this is just like FTK against SwordSoul. But then we have Moyi, Ashina, Imperm, Heavenly Dragon Circle, and Protoss. So hard opens to Protoss though, and they have 1 going second card. And this is kind of like a going second card because it helps dodge the Pog Blades. Gonna go ahead and normal summon Tour Guide effect, Chain Imperm, Psychic Wielder. This is the one really huge benefactor of Tour Guide, is that you'd rather have her take the Imperm than Rusty. So that's what makes her really strong. And like not a lot of hold decks are playing Gamma right now, so that's also a really big plus. Go ahead, dump Graph, bring out the Storm. Go ahead, turn those into Rusty effect, dump the Ancient Cloak, set the Pog Blade, Ancient Cloak effect, go ahead, add the Stained Underwear. Go ahead, search summon out Boots, Stained Underwear effects. Go ahead, overlay those into the Levier. Levier effects, go ahead, revive the Ancient Cloak effect to boost Rusty. Boots effect, add the Shade Brigandine. Go ahead, bring itself out, turn those into the Isolde effect. Go ahead to add for follow-up, so add the Kagamucha. He's not going to add the Kagamucha. Oh, he wants that Torn Scales. Okay, makes sense. Go ahead, send one for Cross. Go to bring out the Renaud effect to add back the Bloom Fossil. And go ahead, turn all his monsters except the Rusty to Appaloosa. End phase, go ahead, use Scarm effects. Go ahead, add Tour Guide Foul. So it ends on 3 monster negates plus a Pog Blade to help dodge Drop Ruler, Imperm. And then we can go ahead and see. Still has decent follow up in the graveyard as well with the Ancient Cloak. So not bad. Plus he has Stained in the graveyard, so he can switch summon out Torn Scales, and then he can save his normal summon later for Tour Guide if he needs to. Goes ahead top decks into the Droplet. Yeah, Droplet. Remember, is only going second card with Imperm in the opening hand. Standby phase, go ahead. Shotgun Lancia. Yep, that helps play around the pot cards. Yeah, SwordSoul cannot play into a lot of interruptions without Tenyi's effect. Yeah, the Tenyi's really do put in quite a bit of work because of the Vishuda, like I mentioned, being able to like just go into the graveyard right away when they go into the Monk, and then being able to like bounce back your Pog Blades, bait out your Appaloosa Negates, stuff like that. They always have it going second and draw Impermanent Glacier of that. Well, that's not the case here. Mo Yi effect reveal Ashina, chain Pog Blade, go ahead chain Heavenly Dragon Circle, go ahead chain droplets to that, sending Heavenly Dragon Circle, go ahead and switch them out Token Collector, and that's the handshake. So we're gonna go ahead and see Fan Knights take that one right there. You know, winning the RPS did help there quite a bit because, you know, every SwordSoul Tenyi player is going to blind Protoss against you calling Dark. That was nice to see. And let's take that one so we can go ahead and see that Dodger Wolf wins. The game went up by like a little bit of rating, right? 1490 rating now. So his top decks would have been Pot of Desires, Long John. Had he maybe been able to like be legit if this was not for hand traps. I was like free game 3. Yep, revealing that this was his hand. Yep, so Dodger Wolf kind of says that he just went for the Appaloosa and Pod Blades to bait out any possible going second cards and then leave the rest up to his hand traps to do the work. But Token Collector is really good side deck card right now. I'm actually really considering putting in the side deck because I enter a lot of online tournaments, or a decent bit of online tournaments, but you know, I get a bunch of random decks, you know, maybe more like tier 2-ish, roguish kind of things. But especially if you're going into like a meta relevant tournament, definitely consider putting Token Collector in the side. I think I saw like pretty much majority of like the LCS top deck lists from the recent 3v3 play Token Collector in the side. And definitely you want it to put in work because of how powerful the SwordSoul Tenyi matchup can be. So definitely something worth considering. But that's going to be it for the video. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like, share it with other Fan Night players, and yeah, hope you guys have a good day. Peace.